So we use generally following acronyms. So I have given the name. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay,
can
this
see.
one's,
So
yeah, this looks
Beaufudge,
interesting.
Beaufudge, Fondue, Gabe, God Buffet. These are the acronym which a participant only need to learn. So B stands for Bill. Hi everyone, this is Manoj, your German coach. So today, as we discussed last time, we are going to we and Anna. Anna is again the co-trainer in from Germany. Hi Anna, how are
Hi.
you? Hi everyone. So we are going to talk about prepositions, accusative and dative in the next lesson. But today we are going to talk about accusative prepositions. So Anna, I would just like to know how do you explain accusative participants to your participants, or accusative prepositions to your participants?
Mhm. Normally, when we start with the prepositions, the students are at the level where they already thought or been thought about dative and accusative, so they know what it is. And before I take my time explaining them, the verb describes or the verb decides if it's dative object or accusative object. When we go to preposition, then I tell them, sorry, bad news. There's another thing that's also responsible for accusative or dative, and this is the preposition. So now it's not only the verbs deciding what we
Mhm.
have to do next, but also prepositions. And then we have a very good material online, tables and stuff like that, with the prepositions that have an accusative.
Uh-huh.
And then we go and check them out together. This is how I start normally.
And what exactly prepositions are, and what kind of roles accusative preposition play?
It depends on the mother language of the student, to be honest. And of course, you can tell them in English, it's like at, without, in, or stuff like that. Not or, but
Mhm.
or other things. And then you say this needs accusative, this needs dative. For A1, we have like a bunch of accusative prepositions, and
Right.
you really one by one go through with them
Mhm.
until, through, for, against, without, and with. Those are like the biggest one for A1. Of
Okay.
course, we can talk about them here further.
Mhm.
And this is just it to learn by heart. And then you know, okay, with those, I need to build a accusative sentence.
Mhm.
This is how I start normally.
Okay, and how many prepositions do we have in accusative? I think we have seven. Bis, ona, für, gegen, durch, entlang. These are the
Okay,
seven
this
prepositions.
sounds correct to me. Yeah.
Okay, and how a participant can memorize these prepositions?
How to memorize is always depending on the student. I always tell them by using it in sentence, by writing it down, by using them as much as possible, and reading. I mean,
Uh-huh.
other students don't like this concept, but
Uh-huh.
most of them say, okay, I have to learn them. There's no other way to do that. Maybe you have another approach, a better one?
I actually, what approach do we follow? I'm just going to mention this on the screen. So we use generally uh, following acronyms. So I have given the name. One second. If you can see these acronyms on the screen, here we go.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay,
can
this
see.
one's,
So
yeah, this looks
Beaufudge,
interesting.
Beaufudge, Fondue, Gabe, God Buffet. These are the acronym which a participant only need to learn. So B stands for bis, O stands for owner, F for für, durch, gegen, entlang. Okay,
Mhm.
they just need to learn these acronyms, and they can simply memorize and keep the prepositions in their mind. There
This
is
is so
one more
cool.
preposition. Say
Yeah.
again.
This is so cool. Yeah, I never saw this like this before.
Oh wow! So my teachers were good. They taught me well. So, and there is one preposition which is bidder, which ideally very close to gegen, or gegen has replaced this bidder. It used to be considered as the eighth preposition in accusative case, but why don't we use it?
Which one? I
Bidder.
acoustically didn't understand what your question is.
Also, there is one preposition called widder,
Wieder.
not wieder, sondern widder. This one. Okay.
Ja.
We don't use it anymore. Gegen has replaced it because it
Ah,
means
ja.
it actually
Ja,
means
okay.
contradict.
Yes, you are right. Wieder is old-fashioned. It's considered like alte Sprache, altes Deutsch. Wider seinem Willen. Wider seinem Willen,
Correct.
against his wish or against his will. It
Mm.
sounds really old-fashioned. Maybe you hear it once in 1,000 times, but gegen replaced it. That's right.
Gegen has replaced it.
Mhm.
Okay. And that means if we talk about the rules, bis is till. If we talk about the meaning of it, bis means till,
Yes.
and O is owner, which is without,
Mhm.
and F stands for fewer, which
Mhm.
means for. U stands for which is at or around, and D stands for durch, which is through, and G stands for gegen, which is against or around, and entlang, which is alongside. And if I say the around, is also around, gegen is also around. In what context these two prepositions can play different role?
Okay, so when we have gegen can be for a place, but it can also be for an opinion against being against something. So let's see for an example with gegen. Let me think about an easy one. For
Mhm.
example, mm, gegen den Baum fahren. Gegen den Baum fahren means to drive to a tree, to crash a tree.
Uh-huh.
So you have one obstacle and you go gegen and you crash like this.
Okay.
Gegen. So your second one was right?
Yeah.
If you say den Baum fahren, you know what it means? It means
It.
you have the tree and you
Uh-huh.
drive around the tree. You don't crash it. Den Baum fahren.
Okay.
So this is also a location, it's also a direction, but it is to drive around, etwas fahren.
Mhm.
This is
So
just one of many examples, you can compare it.
So when I say ich fahre das Haus, that means the house is the object and I am simply driving around the house. So
Right.
ich fahre die Stadt. Can we also say that?
Wir fahren die Stadt. Yeah, it's okay. It's possible to say it.
Okay. And in what context gegen is used as around? When it is about the time description, gegen generally plays the role of or a role of around. Ich
Yes.
komme 7 Uhr. Ich komme gegen 7 Uhr.
Right.
Gegen 7 Uhr means around 7 o'clock, not exactly 7 o'clock. Ich komme 7 Uhr. That means I am coming sharp at 7 o'clock, but not around 7 o'clock. So
Yes.
gegen ideally plays the role of around in context to time,
That's right.
and plays the role of around in context to objects, location, or anything which is still or stationary,
Right.
and you are walking.
This is completely correct. So I would say for beginners, I would say time relation with gegen is much more commonly used because
Yes.
gegen, how many times you say I'm going against something, or it's not so commonly. But to say I'm coming around 7, around 10, or we start around 5, whatever, it's much more usable. Try to learn it like this, but also keep in mind you can use it to meet at a certain point somehow with gegen. This
Right.
is another thing. But students have to take it slow and try to learn firstly, in my opinion at least, the more common things first. So I would say
Okay, wonderful. So, should we do some exercises about the prepositions? So, or let's do a quick revision. So, we have 7 prepositions in accusative case, which actually are only accusative, though we have dative and the vex, or two-way prepositions, which are also used as accusative, but only accusative preposition default are only 7. You can learn them by God buffet, dog buffet, Fodugeb, Bofudge, any acronym you can learn. So gegen, ohne, durch, bis, für, entlang. These are the prepositions in accusative case. So whenever we use accusative preposition, the noun or the pronoun, the next to it has to be in accusative form.
that's right. Yes.
That means if I give one example, or we do it in your section with exercises.
Yeah, I prepared something. We can do that.
Wonderful. That's so, guys. Practice. We go to Anna's channel description. We stay here.
All right.
See you then.
Thank you.